I knew something was wrong the moment her smile died. Emily had been laughing, full, bright, unbothered, her head tilted slightly to the right the way she always did when she was performing happiness. But the instant the front door swung open and she saw who was standing behind me, the color drained from her face like someone had pulled a plug beneath her skin. Her mother-in-law's hand tightened on my arm. Her father-in-law's breathing hitched. Her younger sister whispered something sharp under her breath. And Emily. Emily froze. The air between us turned glacial, silent, brittle, dangerous. Her lips trembled. The glass of wine in her hand tilted just enough for the rim to kiss the carpet. Behind her, the soft hum of the home she and I shared, our home, seemed to evaporate. All I could hear was my pulse. All she could hear was the truth sprinting toward her. I said quietly, almost tenderly, I brought guests. Her eyes darted to me, then to them, then back to me. Why? I stepped inside, gently urging her lover's mother into the hallway. Because we all deserve answers tonight. Emily's throat constricted, and for a moment, no one moved. No one breathed. No one blinked. It felt like the world collapsed into that tiny foyer, compressing until every heartbeat, every inhale, every lie became undeniable. And then, like a glass cracking under pressure, Emily whispered, "Oh God." She wasn't talking to me. She wasn't talking to her lover's family. She was talking to the guilt she could no longer outrun. 2 weeks earlier, I had never been the suspicious husband. Not once. Emily and I had been married 8 years. We survived job changes, her long hospital shifts, my late-night project deadlines, her mother's surgery, my father's death. We weren't perfect, but we were steady, solid in all the ways that mattered. Or so I believed. It started with little things. A softness in her voice when she said she'd be home late. Notifications she cleared a little too quickly. Nights she lingered in the shower just a little too long. None of it violent. None of it alarming. Just, off. A shift I couldn't name but could feel in my bones. One night, I woke up to find her on the couch at 3 a.m., phone glowing inches from her face, her expression tender in a way I hadn't seen directed at me in months. I watched from the hallway. "Good night," she whispered to whoever was on the other end, smiling softly. Then she buried her face in a pillow. I stood there for a long time, my insides hollowing out. Still, I told myself. She's tired. You're overthinking. It's just stress from work. Love makes you stupid. Denial makes you blind. The call. The truth didn't come from Emily. It came from a stranger, a trembling woman whose voice cracked every few words. Is this Daniel Reynolds?" she asked. "Yes. My name is Claire." Her breath hitched. Her words spilled too fast, as if speaking them hurt. "I think your wife is having an affair with my son." The world stopped. Not slowed. Not wavered. Stopped completely. I gripped the counter to stay upright. "Your son?" "Yes," she said. "And we need to talk." I could not feel my hands. My mouth went dry. My heartbeat wasn't beating so much as slamming. Her son. Her son. The pieces didn't fit. Emily worked with mostly older colleagues. She wasn't someone who crossed paths with 20-something men. "Are you sure?" I managed. She let out a painful, defeated sigh. "I'm sure. I found messages. Pictures. Voice notes." Something shattered in my chest. She continued, voice shaking. "My son is married." Her words sliced through the last layer of disbelief inside me. "And we want to confront this, together," she whispered. The agreement. Meeting them at a cafe was like walking onto a movie set where I didn't recognize the script. Claire was trembling. Her husband's fists repeatedly clenched and unclenched. Their daughter stared at the table like it owed her something. And their son, the man my wife was sleeping with, never showed. "He's terrified," his father said bitterly. "And guilty. But he won't face her. Or you." I didn't trust my voice. I didn't trust anything inside me. "So what do you want to do?" I finally asked. Claire looked up, eyes red, voice breaking. "We want Emily to see who she's hurting." I swallowed. Hard. And you want me to bring you to my house? You deserve the truth, she said. And we deserve to ask why. The moral part of me, the part that believed in grace, empathy, patience, whispered that this wasn't the right way. The broken part of me, the part Emily had quietly, surgically dismantled, whispered that this was the only way. I agreed. God help me, I agreed. The walk to the front door. As we approached my house, Claire's grip tightened around my forearm. You don't have to be strong, she murmured. You just have to be honest. The irony nearly made me laugh. Honesty. A concept my wife had turned into a corpse. I unlocked the door. My hand shook once on the doorknob. Just once. Inside, I heard music playing softly, something warm, romantic, something she would play while cooking. Her voice drifted from the living room, followed by a laugh, bright, full, easy. I felt sick. She was happy. She was carefree. While my insides were rotting. I stepped aside and let her lover's family walk in behind me. And then I opened the door. The moment everything stopped. Her smile was the first casualty. 1 second, it shone like a spotlight. The next, it died midair. Emily went pale, her jaw tightening like she'd been slapped by fate itself. Dan. Her voice cracked. What is this? I didn't answer. Behind me, Claire stepped forward. Her eyes were trembling. Her mouth quivered with a question too heavy to hold. Emily, she whispered, why? Emily staggered backward, hand trembling around the wineglass. Mrs. Parker. This isn't. Her words collapsed into silence. I watched her panic rise, watched it choke her, watched her heartbeat pulse visibly in her throat. Every lie she'd rehearsed suddenly tangled into useless knots. Her father-in-law stepped out from behind me, jaw clenched. You slept with my son, he said quietly, and the accusation cracked across the room like lightning. Emily's knees weakened. Her breath stuttered. Her eyes flicked wildly from face to face, as if searching for an exit in a room with none. It wasn't, your son and I. She tried again. Failed again. Her sister's voice cut in, sharp as a blade. How long? Emily squeezed her eyes shut. 6 months, I answered for her. Her head snapped toward me, horrified. Dan, please. No, I stepped closer. For once in this entire nightmare, you will not talk over me. Her lower lip trembled. She was terrified. Good. Fear meant there was something left inside her worth breaking. The shattering. Did you love him? I asked quietly. Emily's eyes filled instantly. Her silence was the answer. Claire gasped softly behind me, covering her mouth. Her father turned away, shoulders shaking. Her sister looked like she wanted to scream. And what about me? I whispered. My voice wasn't loud. It wasn't accusing. It was tired. Tired of being blind. Tired of being loyal. Tired of being hers. Emily stepped forward, desperate now. Dan, I swear, I didn't mean for. Did you love him? She hesitated. A heartbeat. 2. Then, barely audible. I thought I did. The world didn't shatter. It eroded, quietly, painfully, like water dissolving stone 1 grain at a time. Her voice dropped even lower. But I never stopped loving you. Something inside me laughed, a broken, disbelieving sound. You didn't stop loving me, I repeated slowly. You just stopped choosing me. Her tears fell instantly. Dan. Her lover's father stepped in, voice trembling with rage he was barely containing. My son is married, he growled. Did you ever think of her? His wife? Her family? Emily collapsed into a chair, hands shaking violently. Please, she begged. Please, can we talk alone? No, I said. You lost the right to privacy when you burned the truth. She covered her face. And for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then she whispered something that froze all of us. Something so quiet, so raw, so devastating that the air around us thickened. I didn't want to stop, she confessed. I tried. God, I tried. But I didn't want to stop. The room went dead still. Claire stumbled backward. Her husband cursed under his breath. Her sister's eyes widened in disbelief. And I felt something inside me go cold enough to kill. Because in that moment, I realized. This went deeper than betrayal. It was addiction. Obsession. Emotion she had never shown me in 8 years of marriage. And that was the most devastating truth of all. Emily's confession hung in the air like gas, silent, invisible, but ready to ignite at the slightest spark. I didn't want to stop. The sentence replayed in my mind, echoing, dissolving, rebuilding itself into something sharper, something that split the last piece of me that still believed she'd fought for us. Not wanted to stop. Not couldn't. Wouldn't. For 6 months, while I kissed her goodbye before work, while I held her during her anxiety spells, while she cried in my arms about being overwhelmed, she was living a second life, a secret one, with someone else's husband. And she didn't want to stop. Her lover's mother, Claire, was the first to break the paralysis. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Emily," she said. "You destroyed 2 marriages." Emily looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. "I didn't mean to." "You didn't mean to." Claire's voice cracked into something sharper, more agonized. "My son has a wife. A sweet, trusting woman who loved him, who defends him even now. Do you even understand what you've done?" Emily's shoulders curled inward, her hands shaking uncontrollably. "I was lonely," she whispered. It was barely audible but loud enough to gut me. Lonely. While sleeping beside me. While being loved. While being chosen again and again. Claire let out a sound caught between a laugh and a sob. "Lonely. So you found comfort in someone who was already committed." Emily flinched. I stood motionless, watching the pieces fall. Watching the truth, her truth, spill out. Watching her lover's family stand there, broken in ways that mirrored my own destruction. And for a moment, I almost felt guilty for bringing them here. Almost. But then Emily spoke again. The justification. "I know I hurt everyone," she whispered. "I know I lied. I know I betrayed you. But please, please, listen." She looked at me first. Always me. It sickened me how instinctively she sought my understanding even now. "You were distant," she said softly. "You were buried in work. You stopped noticing me. I felt invisible. And when he saw me, when he listened to me, when he made me feel." Her voice cracked. I looked at her, emotionless. "So it's my fault?" "No," she exploded. "No, Dan, I'm not blaming you. I'm just explaining how it happened." "How you let it happen," her lover's father snapped. She winced. But she didn't deny it. "I didn't go looking for him," she whispered. "It just happened." I could feel the tension rise in the room like heat waves from asphalt. The classic line. The classic betrayal. Nothing just happens. A lapse requires opportunity. A betrayal requires choice. Repeating it for 6 months requires commitment. Emily was not a victim of circumstance. She was a participant in destruction. "It felt like breathing after drowning," she whispered, eyes brimming. "I felt alive again. I felt wanted again." My jaw tensed. She didn't know it, but that sentence would be the one that killed the marriage more than any physical act ever could. Not because she found someone else, but because she found life without me. Her lover's family breaks. Her lover's sister stepped forward, voice trembling with fury. "My brother is a coward for running from this," she said flatly. "But you're worse for telling yourself that you didn't know he was married." Emily closed her eyes, shame washing over her. "You knew," the sister continued. "You saw pictures. You saw wedding rings. You saw the life he already had. And you still kept going." Emily's voice broke. "I told him to leave me alone." "Did you tell him before or after the hotel rooms?" her sister spat. Emily looked like she'd been punched. She didn't respond. She couldn't. And the silence revealed everything. The turning point. The room grew suffocating. "I need air," I muttered. I stepped toward the door, but Claire reached out and caught my hand. "Don't go," she whispered, eyes wet. "You deserve to hear everything." I didn't know whether to thank her or crumble. Emily began shaking as if the room had dropped below freezing. Dan, she whispered, please don't think I didn't love you. I turned slowly, meeting her eyes. Then what do you call all of this? She opened her mouth, closed it again. Because there was no answer. I took a step toward her. Do you know what I did on the nights you were working late? I waited up for you. I made dinner for you. I checked the weather to see if you'd drive safely. I prayed nothing bad happened to you. A tear rolled down her cheek. And you, I continued, voice low, were with him. Emily's lips trembled. I hated myself every night, she whispered. Not enough to stop, I said. That line sliced through her. But it was the truth. And she knew it. The final admission. Her lover's father stepped forward, fist clenched. Tell him, he said. His voice shook with rage and pain. Tell him what you told my son last month. Emily stiffened. My stomach dropped. What did you tell him? I asked. She looked terrified. Exposed. Cornered. Claire whispered, Emily, he told us everything. Everything. Emily choked. Her father nodded grimly. Tell your husband what you said to our son when he suggested ending the affair. Emily covered her mouth. I felt cold. Emily, I said softly, what did you tell him? She took a breath so unsteady it shook her whole body. I told him. Her voice cracked apart. I told him that I didn't want to lose him. Her lover's mother flinched as though struck. Her sister gasped. Her father muttered something under his breath, stepping back in disgust. But I felt a level of pain I didn't know a human heart could survive. My voice came out hollow. So you were afraid of losing him? She burst into tears. I was confused. No, I whispered. You were in love with him. She sobbed violently. I thought I was, she blurted. But it wasn't real. It wasn't love, it was escape. It was excitement. It was feeling wanted again. It was everything I wasn't anymore, I finished. She shook her head desperately. No, that's not true. Then why did his family have to drag the truth out of you? I asked. Why didn't you confess on your own? Emily broke. Her voice dropped to a whisper so small it could have vanished. Because I didn't want you to leave. The cruelty of that sentence settled into the room like dust on a coffin. You didn't want me. You didn't choose me. But you wanted to keep me. You wanted both worlds. Both men. Both lives. That wasn't love. That was possession. The decision. Emily, I said quietly, our marriage is over. Her entire body collapsed inward. No, Dan, please don't do this, please. Her lover's family watched silently, heartbreak etched across their faces. I'm done, I said. My voice was steady, firm, certain. I gave you everything. I trusted you with everything. And you treated my love like something you could pick up and put down whenever someone else smiled at you. Emily shook her head violently. No, this doesn't have to end. Dan, I'll change, I'll fix it, I'll do therapy. Just please, don't walk out on me. You walked out first, I said. She sobbed so hard she nearly collapsed off the chair. Claire stepped toward her, voice soft despite everything. Emily, she whispered, you need to face what you've done. Not escape it. Not hide behind apologies. Emily shook uncontrollably. Her lover's father looked at me. If you need anything, he said quietly, support, paperwork, statements, anything, we'll help you. You didn't deserve this. I nodded numbly. Because I didn't. I turned toward the door. And then Emily made one final, desperate attempt to anchor me to her sinking ship. The final twist. Dan, wait. I stopped. Her voice trembled with a fear I had never heard from her before. Pure, primal, terrified. There's something you don't know, she whispered. Her hands clutched her stomach. Everyone in the room froze. No. God, no. Her eyes filled with tears, not the guilty kind, but something deeper, heavier. I'm pregnant, she choked. And I don't know whose it is. The room exploded. Claire gasped and sank to her knees. Her husband cursed and punched the wall. Her sister screamed. I felt the world tilt violently under my feet. Pregnant. Possibly his. Possibly mine. Pregnant, while cheating for 6 months. I stared at her, feeling something inside me fracture permanently. Get out of my house, I whispered. Emily sobbed hysterically. Dan, please, don't leave me alone. I stepped back. Away from her. Away from everything. You ended us, I said. My voice was quiet, but final. And this, whatever this pregnancy is, doesn't change what you destroyed. She collapsed to the floor, and I walked out the door with her lover's family behind me, each of us broken in different ways, but united by one truth. A single betrayal had shattered all our lives. And none of us, would ever be the same again.